Hello and welcome to Loud Creations. In today's video, I am going to be making a spiced elderberry Cyser. Now, I have not worked with elderberries before. I've read up on it quite a bit, so I'm feeling pretty good about this one. The ingredients were selected based on their association with the zodiac sign Libra and the zodiac sign of Aries, which are polar opposites. And so I am starting this mead on the new moon in Libra, and we'll be checking in on it, most likely racking it for the full moon in Aries. To start, let's talk about what the ingredients are for this mead. The first ingredient that I selected was apple. So instead of making my own cider or using actual apples, today I'm just going to be using a pretty good quality apple juice. I looked at the ingredients. There are no sulfates or any other stuff that will mess up my mead. So I will be mixing this with some elderberries that here's my little pot. There are my little elderberries that I actually rehydrated by bringing them to a boil and letting them simmer for about half an hour. And I added my cinnamon stick into this. I am going to pull it out because I don't want to put it in for fermentation. I just don't want to have too much of the cinnamon. After fermentation, I might be adding more spices. But as it is now, I'm going to just leave it at that. So the main ingredients are apple, elderberry, and cinnamon so far. I might add something else if I think it'll be good. I also have this bucket of honey from a local beekeeper, and I will be hopefully not spilling that everywhere. We'll see how that works out. I seem to spill it pretty much every time with the bucket. So if anybody has any suggestions about getting the honey out of a big bucket, let me know. 'Cause I got a bigger funnel. So it's still not very big, but I have high hopes. Anyway, I lost my place. Where was I? So those are it's a Cyser. So a Cyser is like an apple, like a hard cider, but it's mead, sweetened with honey. So a Cyser. And it's kind of a melomel too, which is like a fruit-based mead. So it's a melomel Cyser. And I will be adding D47 yeast. You don't need a whole packet. I am going to probably try this time to use just half a packet because I go through these. And what else do we have? I am adding in yeast nutrient Fermade O, which I might not be adding today. I think I'm going to wait 24 hours and then throw it in there. I will be adding in GoFirm today. I found a website that basically will calculate how much of the Fermade O you need to put in and gives directions on how to use GoFirm, because I don't think I've been doing it 100% the way at least this person says. So I am going to be doing that. And yeah, I think those are the ingredients. Do I have anything else? Just to give a little insight into what my thought process is for doing the apple, elderberry, and cinnamon. The apple and the elderberries are for the sign of Libra. Apple is ruled by the planet Venus, as is elderberry. Elderberry, depending on where you get your information. I have a few books that I'm using, but elderberry is also under the air element, so is Libra. So Libra is ruled by Venus and air. So there we got that going. And both elderberry and apple can be associated with love and protection. Since Libra is the sign of harmony and beauty and relationship, I thought it would be great to have the apple element, which represents love. It's usually, it's Venus, love, abundance, and Venus rules the sun sign of Libra. So that is perfect. And then, as we know, elderberries are great for the immune system. They have so many other properties and folklore associated with them, which I will be getting into on the second video for this mead, where I'll be racking and I'll give a background on the folklore, magical uses, medicinal uses, and any other information I come across for each of the ingredients. And then cinnamon. Cinnamon is a fiery substance and it is ruled by fire, as is Aries. And it actually, I believe, is associated with Aries as well. And it's a very energizing herb. It also um, is associated with passion and action. So I think that's a good balance. We have relationship, harmony, beauty, and then moving towards taking that into action through strong emotions. So that's what I'm going for here with my mead. But anyway, uh, I could go on and on and on about that silly stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and just start making the mead to show everybody what's up with that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out the Go Firm that I need to rehydrate. I have my handy dandy scale, so I'm actually going to measure out how the grams that are recommended for this, for what I'm making. And I'm going to grab my handy dandy phone. So the Go Firm, hold on. Go Firm, 6.25 grams of Go Firm. So let's change this to grams. 6.25 grams of Go Firm. So let's see. So I'm going to try my best here. It's a lot of Go Firm. Really? That's woo. Seems like an awful lot of Go Firm. I was putting about a quarter teaspoon, so I'm feeling a little weird about this. But hold on. It says for 1 packet of yeast, use 6.25 grams of Go Firm with hot water. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. Seems like an awful lot. I'm not using a whole packet of yeast. Well, maybe I'll just use the whole packet this time. All right, I'm going to stir this around. Try to get these little bad boys mixed in with the water. I'm going to let it sit for a while before I pitch these because I heated up the water quite a bit. So that can stay there. I am going to put a roughly, well, no, not roughly, because I'm using my scale. I'm going to put 3.5 pounds of honey into my 1.5 gallon carboy. Now, I only plan on making a gallon of mead, but since I'm going to be putting in elderberries and there's going to be a good amount of sediment at the bottom, I am going to use a larger container. It would be nice if I had a wide mouth one to do that in. I do have a bucket, but for whatever reason, I prefer to use these glass carboys. So let's see how this whole honey thing goes, because I'm a little nervous after the last time. All right, here we go. Wish me luck. Now this, I could have heated up this honey to make this go way quicker. I'm going to speed this up now. Okay, so this is very slowly. This funnel saved me from spilling stuff, but I swear the honey is taking longer to move through it, but that's fine. I realized there's already sugar in the apple juice that I'm going to be adding, and this is a rough calculation in my own mind. How much? There's 23 grams of sugar per serving, and there are 12 servings in this container. So I calculated, and then just how many grams are in a pound of honey. and calculated basically what percentage this represents. So this has like a quarter of the honey that a pound of honey would have. And I know my calculation is far from accurate. We're going to see how well I did when we do the gravity reading, but this is all on the fly. So we'll see how this works out. I could have a couple of really sweet meads on my hands. But anyway, I am going to, instead of doing 3.5 pounds, I did 3.25 pounds of honey. The elderberries also, I don't believe have sugar content. I looked that up and it doesn't look like, if there is sugar, it's not much. So hopefully I made a good decision. But the reason why I am talking while this is still going is I figure now is a good time. The water is cooled down here a bit and that I put the gopher in. So I'm going to go ahead and pitch my yeast into here and let it sit for a while to get these little guys to wake up. This is D47 yeast. It has an alcohol tolerance of about 14%. Of course, that's just an estimate. And yeah, so what I'm going for is like a semi-sweet mead, and let this go all the way to 14%. This is the part that I'm still working out personally, to figure out what works and what doesn't, how much honey I need. I still haven't quite wrapped my head around all the numbers. So anyway, that's me. I am definitely, I wouldn't call myself a novice, but I'm not an expert yet, but that's all part of the process. So I'm just gonna swirl this around. See if I can get more yeast out of here because they're all kind of clinging to the sides. And they're in there. So I'm gonna set that aside again. And I will be back when this honey has finally settled. Another thing I forgot to mention on this website calculator that I found for yeast nutrient, it says for a semi-sweet mead, I am looking for a original gravity of 1.12. So fingers crossed that's what it is. My last mead was 1.15, which is insanely high. But that's just because I didn't measure the honey. So yeah, we'll see how this works out. And for anybody who's interested, the website that I found, I mean, you could just do a search, but it's Mead Maker, maker spelled makr.com. And it seems very user-friendly. This is my first time using it, but it's worth using some of these tools that are out there. It just makes life a lot easier. I also recently got a handful of books on mead making, just to add to my collection of books to reference. And I found that to be even more useful than looking on my phone, because then it's one or a handful of spots that you can flip through and read, and you don't have to filter through a bunch of nonsense, because I'm finding online you have to filter through to find the really good stuff a lot of the time. Okay, so I am now going to I'm going to spoon these elderberries that I rehydrated and simmered for a while, or cooked, into this funnel, and I'm nervous that they're going to get stuck in there. So we'll see how this plays out. Also, this is probably going to be a big sloppy mess, so I'll probably just clip to when this is done. But while I'm sitting here talking, I used 4 ounces of dried elderberries, and which is about a cup, I think. And then I added 1.5 cups of water and heated them up to a boil, and then let them simmer for about 30 minutes. I think I said, oh, you don't, you little bug. Fruit flies, I'm telling you. They are smart little guys. Like, we have nothing up here. I don't know. Wow. Okay. note to self and to anybody else who doesn't want to use a bucket for whatever reason, probably a good idea to use a bucket when you're using things that won't go very easily into a funnel. And I should know this by now, but it seems like I have some sort of resistance to using the bucket. I also would like to get a bigger wide mouth jug, and that would make it easier. So I think that's on my to-do list for buying something, because I've pretty much stained a lot of stuff with elderberries because they went all over the place. But I got them in there. So I'm going to move on now, and I'm going to now add my apple juice. Up. Here we go. Okay, so I only put about half of it in so that there's plenty of room in there to shake it up, get some oxygen in there, and mix the honey and the elderberries and everything else. So I got my bung. I'm just gonna stick it in there, and here we go. So the website that I'm using says to do this for 15 minutes, and it does take quite a while. So I'm gonna speed this up, or we'll be cutting to the next phase shortly. Okay, so getting warm in here. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the apple juice in. And I just realized that normally I use black tea to add tannin. I believe there are tannins in the elderberries. I am still, regardless, I'm gonna go ahead and I have grape tannin powder here, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a 1/4 teaspoon of that as well. Okay, and this apple cider is 3 quarts, so we're basically short a quart. And I do have some filtered water that I'm going to go ahead and add to this. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of the filtered water. Okay, and oh, I have some dried lemon peel that I'm going to use. I might add a little lemon juice to secondary if I think that's necessary, but I just want to add a little bit of lemon. And I'm going to add 2 little, maybe 3. I like lemon. So drop that in there and do 3 little pieces like this. Got our lemon peel in there. I'm going to shake this up just a few more times, and then I'll go ahead and add my yeast slurry with the Go Firm, and then I'll take a gravity reading, and we are done for this session. Put that in there. Feel like I'm forgetting, the grape tannin. Oh no. Way over there. I almost forgot the tannin again. I don't know what the deal is. It's like since I started making videos, this is the ingredient that I forget to make the tea. As you can see, I used my little 1/2 teaspoon to spoon the elderberries into this container, which was definitely not the best way to do it. Anyway, I could complain about that all day if I wanted to, but okay, so we're just going to do a 1/4 teaspoon. And I've read in my books and other areas online that you can add tannin or acid blend or anything at any point. But I'm just going to do it now. And I need my bung. Again, I'm just going to shake this up one more time. Okay, I'm excited to see what the gravity of this is going to be. Okay, so here goes the slurry. Most of the Go Firm is just chilling. Feel is of this. Oh my gosh. Go Firm. Go do your thing. Okay. I really do feel like it's not this difficult when I'm not recording, but it's like as soon as I have a camera on, problems. Okay, so that way. And we're gonna swish this a little bit and get those yeasties down in there with the Go Firm. Oh, they're gonna be so happy. Okay, now for the big event. This is still a little wet. Make sure there's fluid in there. Okay, so I'm going to see if my calculation and my head, which I'm not feeling super confident about, this is all going to work out. We'll see. Drum roll. I'm looking for 1.12. Oh man. Okay, let me spin that. Whoops. Yeah, it's 1.112 or 1.113. So I think that's close enough. I was shooting for 1.12, but 1.112, I think that's good enough for me. I'm actually impressed that I even got close to calculating that accurately, so yay. Okay, I'm gonna airlock and bung. Here's the bung. So we got our airlock bung on there. I might tie this one down in case this takes off in the fermentation. So the website that I'm using, it says to basically do 4 doses of the Go Firm. So for a packet of yeast, it says it needs 6.25 grams of Go Firm split into 4, and do it on the 24, 48, and 72 hour mark. And then the final one is when a third of the original sugars are gone, which would be approximately a gravity reading of 1.080. For me, it'll be slightly lower because my original gravity is not 1.12. So I'll be adding that in over the next couple days. And we'll see how it works because it's the first time I've used Go Firm. So, okay, so when I come back in a couple weeks to check up on this mead and rack it into another carboy, I will also talk about how fermentation went and whether or not I noticed any differences using Fermade O. Also, I plan on possibly adding more spices to this. I'm going to kind of play it by ear and see how it tastes. Might add a little bit of lemon juice as well. I hope this video was useful, and if you are interested in learning more about making mead or medicinal herbs or learning more about astrology, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you.